Hey, it's Jared. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Eufy Solocam S340. It is a dual camera, pan and tilt, solar charging, and I absolutely love this camera. Now, I have Eufy cameras around my house. I purchased them myself. This actually, they did send me, but this is the first one that they've ever sent me. And this is not sponsored. It's simply me sharing my thoughts on a piece of equipment that works well with, of course, all the other cameras that I have in my home. So let's take a look at the app, and then we'll talk about what you can do with this camera. Now, as you can see here from my front door, we have two different views. We've got the wide angle view and we have the zoomed in view, which is great. Shows me my 4x4 beam that's there, but how can I get around that? What I could do with this is tap on pan and tilt, and I can move the camera positioning around. And what's great about that is that I'm able to see things and zoom in without having to lose quality, because zooming in is essentially just using one of the other cameras. And so that's great, because typically with my other Eufy cams, they're wide angle only. And yes, I can zoom in, but I start to lose image quality when I do that. And this camera, because it has two cameras on it, means that I'll get my wide angle, but I also get something that's zoomed in. The pan and tilt option's great. None of the other cameras that I have are pan and tilt, so you're just stuck with a fixed view. But having a pan tilt feature is only as good as your availability to use it in most cases, but that's not the case with this camera, because it actually can follow and track people, which is kind of neat, kind of freaky at the same time, because pan and tilt is controlled by AI. It actually will follow people, as you can see here. It's following the people that are leaving, and it lost track of them because of that beam that's there. But what's cool is that it tracks them and follows them. That's something that most other cameras are not going to do, and definitely are not going to do if there's no pan and tilt feature at all. So the fact that we are able to get the camera following the subject as the subject comes up to our house, and it recognizes it and follows them straight to the door, absolutely fantastic. And then of course I have a light that's in the way as well. So maybe I should think a little bit differently about the placement of this camera, but I kind of like where I have it placed, because it's not something that people are going to notice and get freaked out by. If a camera is following them, obviously that's going to give off some weird vibes, and I want the camera to be positioned in a place where they're just not really looking for it or noticing it. Now, I like this because this allows me to really see who's coming to my door. We don't typically have a lot of traffic to our door, so if someone comes to the door, it's really great to be able to see their face, and this camera allows for that. Looking at the camera that we have on the back of our house, this is one of their standard cameras that's wide angle, no pan tilt, and I can zoom in, which is great. I can zoom in and I can see stuff, and it's actually pretty decent resolution, but I don't have any ability to pan or tilt. That is just a limitation of the camera itself. So having a pan and tilt feature is great, especially considering that it follows the action and I don't have to do that manually. That is where this camera really shines. So the Solocam S340 is a great overall package because it's solar powered, which means you don't have to run any wires to it or take it down to charge it or do anything like that. I can position the solar panel in any direction, and you can even take that off of the camera itself and mount it at another angle, so you don't have to have it mounted to the top of the camera. The solar panel actually plugs into the USB-C port on the back of the camera, which is weather sealed and protected. You then have the 3K camera itself, which has pan and tilt and rotates all the way around so that you can get any position. It utilizes on-device AI, which means it's able to detect and track subjects, and it does all of that on device without having to send off any information over the internet, which is great and secure. And then it also has night vision as well and works pretty well at night. Now, obviously, positioning of the camera is important, as you saw in my examples. Having that post in the way definitely is going to affect its ability to follow and track at night, but during the day it doesn't have any problem at following subjects even when they pass behind and come out the other side of that post. So this camera is great, and I'm probably going to be purchasing a couple more so that I can add them to places where I would like to have additional articulation of the camera. Here's an example of mounting that solar panel somewhere else. So because I have other Eufy cameras in my home, I also have the Eufy base station, which all the cameras connect to. Because this camera is a little bit further away from the base station, this camera connects to my Wi-Fi, and then all of that is transmitted into the base station for storage. So none of this is stored remotely, it's all stored here. here. And so when I use the app to connect to that footage to review it or to look at the cameras, I'm actually connecting to my local network here, and I can do that from anywhere. So I feel much better about that than having these video clips stored somewhere else in the cloud and not having any control over that. So check out the link in the description below to the S340. Fantastic camera, good price, excellent coverage, and definitely a camera that you need protecting your home 24/7. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you back in the next one.